was, I think it was Sheer Terror and Rest in Pieces. And I remember because I used to beg my brother to take me to the show, and he would always say, nah, I'll take you when you're older. I was about 15 years old, and a friend of mine, Carl, he was some local guy. He was an older guy, but we used to skateboard in my neighborhood. He ended up taking me, and we went to CBGB's to see Sheer Terror, Rest in Pieces, and then after that, I was there every Sunday. You know, it was a wrap. There was a couple. You know, Minus, I could watch Minus for fucking hours. You know, even now with his fucking ballerina physique. No, but Minus always had an interest in style. And back then, Marquito, one of our boys too, he had a crazy style of dancing too, you know. It was crazy. I think guys were more original back then with the dancing. Now it's kind of like, yeah, you know, guys are swinging on each other, but that shit's kind of corny too, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you're swinging, but do it with style. You know what I mean? Like, there were certain guys you would always see, Rico, you know, Saab, rest in peace. You know, Minus was around, always stuck in my head, you know. Everybody, there were certain guys that had their thing, you know. Oh, Mackey's definitely there. Um, there's a lot of good dudes there. I'm gonna say Mikey right now, my drummer now. Not because he's my drummer now, but I love a drummer that could do it all. And those two guys right there could do it all. Rig Ross, my other drummer, my old drummer. You know, I think those three guys, forget it. You know, forget the rest. We don't need nobody else. Give me anyone, anytime. Slayer with AF at the Ritz. That's everybody talks about it, you know. Oh, you know, Slayer, blah blah blah. That one, I'm like, man, I wish I saw that shit. And I'm really not one of those guys. Man, I wish this and that. I was lucky and spoiled that I came up in an era where I'm good with who was around me, and I got, especially in New York, I was lucky. I had all my favorites. CBGBs. As corny as much as when they came, I used to talk a lot of shit on CBs just for the point saying, oh, you know, they only do hardcore shows when they want to make money again, you know, when they would have their up and downs. But when they closed, I realized after, I was like, yo, where do we go? You know what I mean? Like I hate saying it, but I got no shame saying it because, you know, it's that bastard mother, that's fucking whore of a mother that had us all. No, but we hung out in a squad a lot. Um, as a matter of fact, Freddie lived in a squad, obviously where Roger lived. But I like to use that word squad in a way that people hear squad and they're thinking, yo, Roger's house was dope. Yo, they had cable, a phone. I was like, fuck that. I should be a squatter. But you know, yeah, Freddie and Roger they were still living in squads, you know, back then, and we were always hanging out there. You know, I basically would stay there all the time. You know what I mean? It's like back then it seemed like it wasn't it was more a part of some of the people we knew, you know. It was a more common thing to know. Like back then, you knew a straight edge guy, a junkie, a squatter, you know, it was like a Rasta. Killing Time, I call him Raw Deal. I'll say Killing Time or whatever, but that's like probably my all-time favorite hardcore record. But, and that's definitely, you know, the staples, you know, Born to Expire, Leeway, Age of Quarrel, you know, Victim in Pain. These are like a must. Not even because of that, and their fam have these people, but those are the records to this day. You hear them, and it's like, you know, you can't touch these records. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's a lot of new bands. Manipulate. What up, Busky? Fucking let me see. Yeah, like minus, you know, -1. That not just because these are my boys, but they got a lot of good shit out. I heard a couple of their demos. They got some good stuff coming out. There's a couple new bands out right now. I can't think, but there seems like there'll be a good wave of bands starting up again. That's what we need. We need people to start bands. So we're playing Dynamo 95, the biggest show of our life to this day. You know, whatever, 100,000 people. They got us on the main stage. We never played a show for more than 1,500 people before that. So anyway, we get on stage, the intro comes out, we walk on stage, and you know, this is crazy. You know, we're a hardcore band, we're like, what the fuck? We're in front of this huge crowd, and Stigma's next to me, and I'm ready, I'm waiting for the intro to come, and Stigma leans over to me and he goes, it's all downhill from here, kid. And the music said, I remember, I had a heart on before that. After he said that, that shit went, and then we had to start the set. But thank you, Stigma. But to this day, I remember that shit. Yeah, that shit, hardcore lives. You know, and that's exactly why we named our record what we named it. You know, because we always carried the flag for the music when people, at one point, it was cool to say you were hardcore, then it was not cool to say you were hardcore. We always repped it. You know, we knew people always looked at us, and some people just looked at us as, they're just a hardcore band. And we used to be like, yeah, you're right. And we are. And we were showing that not only, as you could see, we play shows all over the world to this day. And when I hear it's dead, it kills me because I'm like, yo, you're dissing all those people. It's because these people that were in it for a year or two, and they ended up having to get a 9 to 5. Their hardcore in their world died, but it didn't die. Because trust me, I've been doing this for 20 years straight. I don't know if any of those guys could say that. And I'm not one of these old school guys. But I can tell you this, the last 20 years, I've been on an airplane or in a van somewhere.